Today, we're about to step into a place many of us only know through stereotypes or headlines. But what if everything you thought you knew was wrong? What if this place was something far greater than you could ever imagine? We came here with our own ideas, but what we had discovered is a country full of hidden gems, breathtaking landscape, and a rich history that completely blew our minds. From the endless sands of the Sahara to the sparkling shores of the Mediterranean, Algeria is a land brimming with adventure, culture, and a warmth that will change the way you see the world. So let's forget the misconceptions and uncover the truth about Algeria. This is not what we expected. It is so much more. We begin the video in the very cold and rainy village of Almasa. And when we left, it took us about an hour and a bit to drive here. When we left, sun was out, it was absolutely beautiful weather. But now by the time we've got here, it has honestly poured so much. And the fact we drove all the way here, I didn't just want to give up and just leave. So I thought, you know what, let's just stick it out. So we just hit away. Also with the drink to it being Ramadan, there's absolutely no restaurants open, but it is such a beautiful view. There's restaurants all over. We have been seeing fishermen coming in and out the whole time. There's also an ancient ruins at the top there, so a fort that you can go around and look at, and you can also hear that the wind is absolutely pumping. I got sent this by some subscribers and they said you got to come look here. Even though everything will be closed, it will be well worth the visit. The drive here was absolutely beautiful, and it was really incredible to see, because you always think maybe the city centers are only the clean areas, but it's actually not the case. Also outside, the areas are unbelievably clean. Even in the rain, there were people still sweeping the street, removing rubbish. So it looks really amazing. And then just that as a backdrop behind is insane. The rain is now coming in a bit more. You can also see all the seagulls flying in the background. It is unbelievably chilly. As I said, I even have a vest on underneath here. That is how warm it is this morning. But as I said, Algeria, the weather changes all the time. So I'm going to take a walk around and try and see what other cool areas and what other cool landscapes I can showcase. Such a shame all these places are closed, because you can see, look at that restaurant being there when you're literally just looking straight out onto the Mediterranean. There's another jetty that goes all the way down there, but I walked around the corner and unfortunately I was unable to walk it. It's completely closed, but you can see there are tons and tons of boats. There's even some fishermen in the corner, I think waiting for the weather to get a little bit better. But how beautiful is this? It kind of feels like a little bit of a hout bay in the Cape, and you have the wrapping around village that you can see all the way there. And then I literally just came, you can hear the wind is absolutely pumping. There's a couple other cars that have been coming around, and there's also a little fishing shop right over here. And then this really has the Greek vibe, because everything is blue, everything is white. You have the seagulls flying. It really feels like you're on Mykonos in Greece. It's really beautiful. So there is the fort that I was telling you all about. I'm not too sure if we can even get up to it. It would be really great if we were able to be able to go and explore the little fish shop, as I said. And then there are just hundreds and hundreds of these little blue boats that you can see. There's also an area where you can come and then park your boats if you don't want them in the water, as you can see on this area here a little bit more. But it really has a really cool vibe. You see some more restaurants at the top there, and then a beautiful little walkway. And this doesn't seem like number one, the weather is terrible, but it also doesn't seem like anything that a tourist will come and do. So it's really local. The shops look really amazing, and this view, kind of like a tapaza, that city Fred, all put together, really wonderful. out here, even though it is raining, it is absolutely freezing. I want to try and make the most of it. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and see if I can make my way to the fort there and just walk around. Apparently it's only a couple hundred dinar to enter, and then just to be able to showcase it, because how often are you in a place like this with so much history? When I was researching it, apparently it originally started off as built by the Ottomans and then taken over by the Romans. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but I think also from being up there, getting to the top and having a view of the whole bay will be absolutely remarkable. So before I get sick, I'm going to jump on the car and then quickly try and make our way up the hill. Entered the fort right now, and the man and lady that you get your tickets from were absolutely wonderful. It was 90 dinar, so really, really inexpensive, and it's just a piece of history. So to just be able to come and explore, I said, can I go to the top and take photos? And they said, absolutely. And I'm already blown away by the view. I can even see the minaret from the Grand Mosque down there. And then it's actually quite scary because it's quite a big, deep drop this way. So now I'm going to flip the camera around, give a nice little walk around and showcase it from my point of view, my eyes, because it looks incredible. So as you can see, you come out of this area here and you straight away greeted with the whole top of the fortress. You have some seagulls up there just living their best lives. You're completely exposed here. It's super, super windy. And if I go just, you can hear it. So I apologize for the wind noise. But then you look down here, you actually even have some cannons down there, but I'll head down there just now to show you. But the thing that really, really impressed me were all these windows, which I presume back in the day must have had cannons coming out of them. But just look at that view. That is $1 million view right there. You don't get much better than that. And I thought up here it's going to be absolutely spectacular. You can see the minaret way in the distance, the fishing village, or town or city. I always get confused between the two. Or I said, I know this is an Almasa, and once again you have the whole area to yourself. That's what I love so much about traveling Algeria, is that you literally have all these touristic destinations to yourself. You can really engage. I'm not too sure if this is for the wind, or if there was ways that they used it for ventilation or as a defense mechanism, but really, really incredible. And then look at that, the whole bay. Wow, 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 what a view. This is the bottom area of the courtyard. As I said, there are some cannons, and I'm not too sure. There are a couple rooms around here that look like they're used for administrative purposes, but just to think how old this is and it's still standing is really, really remarkable. Just another room in there, what seems to be empty, and then I presume this is where people either were sleeping or they were using it as stock back in the day. Wow, lots and lots of history in a type of place like this. As I said, I haven't gone into any of these rooms or seen any of this before, so we are all exploring it together. This is also another empty room, some stones and everything like that. I don't know much about gems, but still really nice. They have names on the door. That is the main entrance area that I walked in, coming through that area there. And then you have another room. So this says Romania, so this is Roman. So there's all the old pottery, and that is really cool actually, that they've preserved it like that. And you can see it even more down here, all the clay. Also, Algeria is known for their clay. If you see some of the ceramics they make, it's absolutely mind-blowing. They even have all different types of coins and pennies. That is so cool. Wow, wow, wow. I'm blown away by this. I think that is absolutely incredible. Let's see what the next room has. Also, these really cool windows. Wow. This is another Roman area, number 2. Look at the craftsmanship. Do you think that's all been crafted? Wow. All the busts over here. This is actually so cool. I was not expecting to see all of this actual pieces of history. As I said, I do not speak French or Arabic, but there are explanations for each and every single one, where they were found, obviously how they were found, what they're representative of, and how this is so secluded. Obviously no walls out, and then on the top you have your whole area that you use as a defense. And then this is the last room, and this says the Ottoman. So I did say online, I saw it was Ottoman and Roman. And then once again, massive wagon wheels. Look at these ceramics and the pottery. It is insane. Wow, 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 wow. Even down here, like this obviously looks like a water system. Do you think this is from way back in the day? It doesn't have a date on it. Incredible. And then, as I said, obviously the ceramics and pottery. Look how amazing that is. I did see there was another area one level below, so let's take a walk there and explore that. But how cool is this in Algeria? I am now one level down. You can see the fort behind me, and it's absolutely incredible to think how old that is. And from the inside, how it's so protected from the wind. It was actually really warm in the inside there, and then overlooking the bay. And I must say, it's one of the most picturesque bays. I just cannot stop looking at it. You can literally see, I don't know how well the camera does it, but you can see the different contrasts in the color of the water. So very, very dark blue, so it's very deep water, going into the turquoise water, and then almost going into like this transparent water in the background. I'm so glad that the cloud cover raised a little bit, and it enabled us to be able to go outside and have a look around and be able to see, because it's been an absolutely beautiful sight to see. As I said, you can see the great mast, the minaret, some of the office blocks, then all of these houses around the bay, and just to be able to step back and have a piece of this history on the Mediterranean in Algeria. So what I'm rather going to do is rather conclude the video there instead of showing lots of different other things. This was such a highlight. I want to leave it all to its own. I know people have been asking me, please go and visit other areas in Algeria. Please go like Constantine, Oran, everything like that. I would love to, but you've got to be patient with me. As I said, it is during Ramadan, so everything is closed. So I'm rather going to wait to go back when everything is open, so I can fully engage in the culture, be able to talk to the people on the street, be able to eat the food that they're eating and everything else. So I think it will be a much more beneficial experience for me to go when it's not Ramadan, so then I'll be able to really explore it. So as I said, it's been an absolutely beautiful day. Look at this view behind me, absolutely incredible. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you as always for all the support, and if you ever come to Almasa, I literally just look all over Google Maps. You can see it's like a little peninsula. It's literally just starting out in the bay. Come and check it out. To be able to walk around, especially when it's open, to be able to get some of the fresh fruit, the fresh seafood and everything, and then you can come see the fort. It's really spectacular. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you all in the next video.